first. I can't believe none of you voted for Valiant. That's crazy.
Are you going for Valiant?
I am. No. Well, no.
No, you're not.
3-1. 3-1 Valiant. There's my prayer.
Really?
3-1.
Okay, how are they getting it done then, Jack?
Well, you know, they're going to win. And Liar's going to boot more people, and he's going to boot proper off the map.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so you say Liar's just going to go sicko mode on 3 maps instead of just the one?
Just one. Maybe he goes 2. Maybe a 3-2 for Valiant, maybe 3-1. I don't know. I'm a Valiant fan, man.
Well, you know, the Des brought up an interesting point, Jack. How do you feel about the Valiant obviously having that clutch win against the Los Angeles Gladiators in Map 5? But they went on to fall against the Toronto Defiant in a pretty convincing loss. The Valiant didn't really continue that momentum like many of us were hoping.
Ups, and then downs, and then
back up.
Back up again. See the maths there? See the maths? It works out, man. Look, they're going to Esperanza again. Maybe they'd pull it out. Legion Tower is going to be the first Madden Barney, second Royal Esperanza Oasis. It's going to be a good game. But yes, Shock, ideally here. Do you take a W? It's crazy, actually. I was looking at the standings. We were talking about it in the green room. So many teams at 5 and 5. It's a little weird at the moment. Like, very strange.
5 teams at 5 and 5.
Yeah, very strange. So, like, the Shock need a dub here to, again, just kind of push them through, because it's anybody's spot in the playoffs at this point. Just anybody's. And that's the scariest thing. If this many teams are neck and neck, you've really got to start separating yourself.
You got to differentiate yourself from the rest of the pack. For the Valiant, they're just trying to get as many wins on the board as they can. It's unlikely at a 1-9 record currently that they're going to be able to sort of find their way into the playoffs. But the Shock, they have everything to fight for. They've done this rebuild in the mid-season madness, and now it's the Shock just trying to prove that they can be better than these other teams after that rebuild. Renko, smile.
He does have one of the most charming smiles in the Overwatch League, that's for sure. There he goes, he's smiling back.
Made a lot of fans.
Made a lot of fans.
What's not to love? All right, Valiant with a weird comp coming out here on 9 Market. This is usually a rush map, but both teams opting against it.
Very strange, yeah. And looks like a little Farah Mercy for San Francisco Shock.
This is almost as if the Valiant have expected the San Francisco Shock to come out with this composition, and they've started on the D.Va, because as much as it's weird that the Valiant are playing this, it works perfectly against what the Shock are playing.
Yep, yes it does. I mean, the LA Valiant, look, this is where Lion popped off the time before. He's on Kiriko now, unfortunately, so that's going to suck. No more boops for him, but good first kill by Seeker. Resurrection, the famous E key. It has been pressed, but CJ can take down Probe, so it's really now 1-for-1. Lion does fall. A bit rough for the LA Valiant, but another nice manual hack there from Seeker. Just grounding Probe for the time being. Points unlock and point has been taken by the LA Valiant, but slowly but surely. These fire comps really do chew you out after a brief moment if you're not careful. You have to really focus that down. Flip, not quite.
Not
Kuroi
quite.
jumps back on.
Kuroi does go down, and the Valiant got the first capture point, and they're just starting to stagger things out. But the San Francisco Shock, this is how the Farah style works. You surround the opposition, slowly pump out that damage, and if they can't deal with Proper and Luke Mino, they will eventually fall. Kuroi is going to move off of the D.Va onto the Winston, which is interesting. Usually you prefer to stay on that D.Va because you have the defense matrix, you can mitigate the damage from the Farah, but Seeker going down on the Sombra, that's more percentage that's just going to go on the clock.
I think I saw Probe. He was in the spawn of the LA Valiant for a little while, so probably spotted the Transcare. Easy kill. Proper's now setting up for a barrage, maybe. Seeker's got that EMP ready to go, though. It's probably just rocket jumping off the side of the map.
San Francisco Shock playing a Farah composition is so strange and so different.
Good EMP
onto Jumbin, takes him down.
Looks like Proper was setting up for a barrage. EMP comes out. Lucamino does pop the Falcon, so might be a free resurrection on Jumbin, but ideally there, Seeker needs to be there with the manual hack. Oh, can't quite get the hack. Came in just a fraction too late. Jumbin does get back up, and Proper was okay in the skies by himself. Does hit the shot onto Nos as he falls. That EMP not even affording them any percentage on the point. There's 4 ultimates available for the Shock, and they still control EMP, a solo EMP on Liar there in the backlines of the San Francisco Shock. Renko pretty happy with that one.
Yeah, Liar was at the San Francisco Shock spawn, and Probe says, no, you're not allowed to be here. Drop the EMP, and this is just chaotic, Jack.
Yeah, nice nade. Oh, that sleep would have hit if he didn't recall. There's the barrage in the corner. Now Nano Boost on Krabi not lasting all too long. Proper with the Nano, and yeah,
another
chaos is the name of the game right now for both teams. Resurrections are perfect in the chaos, Scott. There's no coordinated dive to stop them from happening. 91% on the board. Even Lucamino going down, I think Proper's still going to be landing some nice directs.
This is a window for the Valiant to get in now because the Mercy can't rest themselves. CJ's in a lot of trouble. Drops the Suzu.
Going to help him. Oh, good bubble from Crowie. Proper hit a rocket on the bubble, bit of self-damage there, and CJ finished him off. All good. Liar to the rescue.
And that's an important hold there for the Valiant. The Shock realizing that they don't have the ultimates for this Pharah Mercy, switching back over to the Tracer Brig, a more, I guess, common composition now for the Shock. They're playing the full Tracer Sombra dive. Yep,
there's the EMP available for Secret again. They're in a good spot right now. Pressure on the point, but no, it looks like Valiant want to go first. Nice EMP, knowing Jumpin was on point. As soon as they see that point ticking up, they know their background is pretty vulnerable, and they just pull the trigger.
And they're able to hold onto their Primal Rage and their Kitsune Rush. And we're at 70%, Jack.
Yeah,
all of a sudden, they have a massive ult advantage, and the Shock switch so late in the game that they don't have any of their own to respond.
Rush, Pulse, Nano probably going into his last fight. Light doesn't end up getting hacked. Crowie in a little bit of trouble, does get antied, but has got Primal Rage for backup. 80%, the Shock. Like you said, no ults. Wait for Probe maybe to get the EMP to end this round.
CJ's not on the point. He's playing further back, so he's going to be split from the rest of his team.
Well, there's the rush. Pulse bomb still in hand. Nostos receiver Suzu as he tries to jump in. A short leap. Couldn't get over the wall. Doesn't escape in time. Very little point presence now for the San Francisco Shock. They're going to have EMP in the next 3%, but Lucamino in trouble. Him, Seeker, and Nos are able to take him out. The LA Valiant in firm control, even with a nano to their name, still holding on to ultimates. They don't even need him, Scott. Round 1 goes to Valiant.
It looked good for the Shock. Playing this smile.
I'm telling you, what are the LA Valiant good at?
Smiling.
Mental warfare. Oh,
no,
yeah,
okay,
smiling.
Sorry.
But also the mental warfare.
They have nothing to lose. You've heard them talk about it in their interviews. They know they're the underdog. They're not the ones that need to perform. The pressure and the onus is on the Shock. But this is the problem with playing these Pharah compositions is it puts out a lot of damage. It usually gives you control, but once that falls away from you, if you have to switch away from the ultimates, that's the issue that happens. Valiant just have a wealth of ultimates to deal with it, and they get the first round. Are the San Francisco Shock going to double down here on Gardens?
I think so. Lucamino with the speed out.
Wow.
Shots back over to Mercy, double down on Gardens. Pharah Mercy, ball for Junbin. All right, okay, we'll see how this ends up going down. I mean, again, a nice map. You can kind of play around, obviously, the central building. But taking the point as the Pharah can be quite rough, especially when you're running into someone like a Tracer, whose effective range is pretty close.
This time, Junbin is going to be on the Wrecking Ball. A signature pick for him.
Hack on Renko. No, oh, man, nothing saving it. Even Probe going pretty low. Seeker on Crowie setting up his dives so nicely. And this is the problem, man. Your lonely little Ana. They're trying to help. They're trying to heal. They can't nade themselves because they're hacked. And Lucamino, Proper, Probe, they're all going to switch. They don't want to have to deal with the same as they did last round. They're just going to switch early as soon as Valiant take that point.
Yeah, they saw what happened last round where they decided to commit to it even after losing the point first. Probe going down.
Sure. Yeah, this is... Chance getting broken that often, or are they forgetting to put him down?
I'm not sure, but these are some strong dives here from the Valiant. That was something that we sort of were worried about the Valiant. They're so strong playing Rush, but every time they moved over to the dive, they didn't have that same punching power. But right now, they're getting picks on the Shock, and they're firmly in control of this map, Jack.
Renko gets hacked again, no nade to help him, but it's all good. Lucamino on Brit.
Oh,
nice two-man anti though in the back line. German's going to join them. Little body blocking, but it's all time for the Valiant right now. The longer you stall out, the better. Oh. Seeker, he's off, but he's back. All good. Translocates back to the mega health pack on their side of the map. EMP up soon, Scott.
Yeah, but Valiant don't even need to do anything. Seeker's charging this up, and they're getting percentage, 50%. Ooh, Pulse Bomb goes wide.
That was nice from Nos there. He tried to force the shield into a different direction. There's the EMP, and Nano on Seeker even straight on top of Proper. Take down the main carry. The fight should be easy. Double kill for the Sombra. This jump in tried to make it even as he jumped into the back line, and now the supports for the San Francisco Shock, they are trapped in White Room.
They're not getting away.
And they are, yeah, they're going to die pretty swiftly. Oh, returning EMP, but Nos with the perfect recall. Almost caught that one from happening. Suzu goes a little bit wide, but the self-destruct stop Lucamino and the rest of the gang forcing their way through White Room with that rally.
That was EMP and rally from the Shock, so those are two big ultimates.
Good sleep. Jumpin has to back all the way up now with that Primal Rage. It was hacked, was anti. There's Proper getting the diff onto Nos, but still Shock trying to tussle on that point. Separation of the bubble there. CJ in a little bit of trouble as Liar's nowhere near him. He's actually trying to push people off of the point and help his front line. But, I mean, the Valiant, you're pretty happy with that. 97% on your first cap. LA Valiant going to come back with an EMP, Scott, rather soon. I mean, this is almost over, you'd imagine.
Yeah, Valiant definitely are in control. They have the nano, they have the EMP. We saw how effective that was last fight. And the Shock had to commit so much to keep their backline alive. Probe slept.
Good sleep. Can they get him?
No.
Does force the bubble out from Junbin, though. And you know Probe's going to have to reset. Maybe they want to go fast, not sure.
They're just waiting for the EMP. Get them all in position. Yeah. One big effective dive.
They're on the bridge right now. There's the three-man EMP. Lucamino and Renko are completely isolated from each other. Even Probe trying to body block for his other support. The point's getting taken over. There you go. Renko, an early deploy of the nano onto Junbin. Proper does throughout the pulse. Proper getting a double kill in the backline. Of course, Proper does it again. A triple kill for the Tracer. Clutch man extraordinaire.
He does this. He is the guy for the San Francisco Shock. When they need him most, he always steps up. Huge two-man pulse bomb onto the backline of the Valiant. And those were the ultimates that we talked about, Jack, from the Valiant. They used the EMP, they used the nano boost. They're now the ones who are on the back foot as Probe's got an EMP.
I mean, sometimes Probe pulls your backline and they both die. Rest in peace. Probe with the EMP. He's on his side of the map right now, making his way to White Room. Nice positioning though from Lyra and CJ up onto the high ground, but now they're going to have to join the rest as Crowie's slowly making his way in. There's the EMP, lands on one. CJ's been hacked, so can't even throw a nade onto Lyra to make him a little bit more healthy. There's the two-man dive from Probe and Proper. Another triple kill. Oh my God! He doesn't want to lose, ladies and gentlemen. He does not want to lose.
He doesn't even look happy while he does it. While he decimates the Los Angeles Valiant, he's just in pure villain mode, it feels like.
That's why they picked up Renko, man. He's the happy to Proper stern.
Yin and yang.
Yeah, exactly. Opposites do attract, and that's Renko Proper right now.
93%, Jack. This is final fight. Shock have rally, they have the primal.
There's the rally. I mean, Luca Mays is in a little bit of trouble. It doesn't matter, because Proper is on the board already with a single kill. Has got a pulse bomb too. Didn't want to throw it out just yet. There it is, pulse onto Crowie. No primal rage to save him. And the San Francisco Shock, on what was a 97% first cap for the Valiants, are going to hold on and close out the round.
I love that adjustment from the Shock. They could have easily made the same mistake they did in the last round where they stayed on Pharah that little bit too long. But because they were decisive with their switch back to the dive, they were able to mitigate the cost of the Valiant having their number. But now we go over to Control Center, and this is Valiant's bread and butter, Jack. They can put Cry on the Ramatra, Seeker on the Sojourn. We know how explosive he is on that character.
This must be the double pulse bomb. Oh, there was no bash either. Oh, they both walked the same direction.
That feels bad.
Oh, that's rough. We've all been there.
Okay, Jack.
Go on.
We talked about Proper, but we didn't really highlight it enough.
He has the tablet in his hand.
He played Pharah in the first round,
right.
So he has a lot of resource, but he currently has 15 of the Shock's 24 final blows.
Deadlift. All right. Nice wall. Gonna mash him on the brawl. Complete mirror comps from both sides. Later wall there from Nos. Proper is frontlining right now is on the May. Has to burn the block pretty early. Couldn't quite land that second connection onto Nos, who was pretty low, but Probe's going to come on with the first and second kill for the San Francisco Shock. Now both teams have lost their BAPs. It's just pure trading right now as Crowley just activates that punching mode and just punches down Probe, but it doesn't really matter, ideally with Lucamino and jumping up. If you lose your Lucio as a Valiant there, you can't really escort yourself to the point, you can't really fight any longer. And that will be the first cap to the Shock. Look how charged Jumpin is right now. 71% towards the Annihilation already.
He's done so much. The Valiant are trying to come in fast because they had some picks. Seeker getting another one.
Perfect stuff. Maybe Jumpin manage to even this one up if he can get the Annihilation. Even a lamp thrown out to make him healthy. Or at least somewhat healthy. Wow, flip.
Great response there from the Valiant, recognizing the small advantage they did have. Late wall as well. Is that going to create some staggers?
Maybe.
Renko's on an island alone.
Yeah, goodbye. Close though. Another couple of double taps on the head. Maybe that's a kill, but all right. And now this is where this comp really shines. Just needs choke points with the May, with the Ram.
Yeah, exactly.
Even with the window.
Yeah, they have the window. They have so many tools. Whatever the Shock throw at them, Valiant will be able to respond. Usually the team that has the better Blizzard comes out on top in these compositions though, Jack.
Yep, 2% away from the Blizzard is Nos right now, as Proper's got his in hand. All right, how are they going to go down? Both balls have been used already. Nice window, helping Probe do some damage. That Blizzard from Proper not finding his mark at all. Nothing. In fact, Nos has still got his in his back pocket. They do end up using the beat. That'd be the LA Valiant, and there come the Blizzard. They're going to force, you see the jump in positioning right now, they're going to force him all the way out of this fight. I mean, they need to find picks, though. They cannot let Jumbin join the rest of his team again. It's actually Probe that forces his way onto the point. And there is the railgun. The overclock has been unleashed, and Probe just knocks them all down. The LA Valiant there just unable to really execute on a positioning advantage there with forcing Jumbin away from the rest of his team. It was a better Blizzard, but they just couldn't capitalize on it.
This is why Probe was signed to this roster. Yes, he's been able to play the Sombra for them and enable Proper to go back to that Tracer, but Probe is that hit scan that the San Francisco Shock have been sorely lacking for the last 2 seasons. He's getting the better end of the Sojourn stick over Seeker right now, who's probably been the best Sojourn of this season. So Probe really sort of making fans from the San Francisco Shock.
No, Seeker's got a railgun of his own. The overclock is available. There it is. Almost double tapping Lucamino there, almost Ajaxing. It's actually Probe that comes out on top. You saw the sadness in Seeker's face there and his eyes when he did them going down with that overclock. That's real rough. But now the San Francisco Shock in firm control. And I mean, the damage outpacing here from just the maze is going to be enough to earn them a Blizzard before Nos can. 67 to Proper's already unlocked ultimate. That's really rough.
Trying to force some positioning with both of these amplification matrices. Oh, nice boop off of Renko onto the low ground.
And force the lamp too. There's the Blizzard. Seeker does just isolate Renko in the backline with that right click. Let's take him out, but that's the only kill that they're really afforded. Again, they need to punish them right now. They need to punish the Shock. They got to just press W. They got to find some kills. The Blizzard comes out from Nos. It's going to find no isolations. It's Proper kills 2.
How does he find
How does he keep doing it? Annihilation. He's going to rock the Shock for the time being. But even with a point flip here for the Valiant, Shock still have 93%.
It can't be understated how important that boot from Liar to get Renko off the high ground
Proper's going to survive.
Is Shock out? There's no way.
Oh, there's the boot. Okay.
They got to be careful not to continually stagger here for the Shock. They get staggered, they might not get an effective last fight.
Decent late kill, though, onto Proper.
So many ultimates coming up for the Shock. They should have 4 in this team fight, as Proper almost has another Blizzard.
75% to 10. He is out-damaging Nos and then some. Beats available for both sides, too. Last fight territory now for the Valiant and the Shock, as this Control is starting the series off with a bang and hoping maybe we see a nice little 3K here from Probe. He's already used his ultimate. That overclock, having to deal with that. The lamp is pretty annoying. He's in a decent angle right now. The overclock just end up wearing off, and they create a lot of space with it. There's the Blizzard, Liar on the outside. They do trade their maze, so now it's all on Probe and Seeker. Another overclock available, and Seeker through the window to snipe Lucamino. Last fight now for the Shock. They need to get back on point, but of course it is Seeker. Of course it is Sojourn. 99% to 100. The LA Valiant take map 1.
Wow. The Valiant just able to hold on to all the ultimates that the Shock threw at them. Come back with their own sound barrier, and Seeker, the finisher on the Sojourn. Every time he gets that overclock, and the Valiant, if they were going to win this series, this was such an important map for them to get.
This ends now.
Of course, it had to be this map too. This is the map that they beat the Gladiators on last series that they played. 2-1 overall, exactly the same scoreline too. Crazy good start from the LA Valiant. I mean, Proper, he did all he could there at the very end, of course. They did manage to take Gardens off the back of Proper's Tracer and Probe's ability to get decent EMPs and set up 2-man dives, but the tenacity of the LA Valiant cannot be understated.
It was so interesting in this map in particular because it felt like the Shock anticipated Valiant to play that Ramatra, because that's what they usually play on Lijiang Tower. So the Shock came out playing the Pharah compositions, but the Valiant almost saw it coming. They started on the D.Va, and that's how they got the advantage in the first round. And as soon as they ended up on 3rd round, right here on Control Center, they win this Ramatra matchup. Oh, that's what happened to it.
That's why it didn't. Okay, I'm like, okay, a little bit too defensive, but it actually just hit off the scenery. Okay, really rough. A mistake we don't often see from people like Proper. Blizzard not connecting with the backline, connecting with his feet more than anything. Valiant off to a good start. 2-1 on Control. Nabani is the next map, Scott.
Yeah, Nabani, that's a very different map, Jack. A lot of dive needs to be played. Maybe San Francisco Shock will feel more at home.
We'll have to wait and see after the break. Don't go anywhere. Valiant, they've still got that dog in them. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. LA Valiant taking the first map, and of course it had to be Lijiang Tower, which is the map they rounded out against the Gladiators in that map 5 banger from the other week. And Seeker on the Sojourn. No one does it better than Seeker on Soj, that is for sure. San Francisco Shock, we are going to Nambani. It'll be their choice whether they attack or defend first. We'll have to wait and see when we jump in just a moment. But man, I mean, what happened in that last game? That last round even. That was insane.
Well, that's a lot of fear you have to have going up against the Los Angeles Valiant, is they have the ability to go toe-to-toe with any team in this league right now when they're on maps like Lijiang Tower. My concern for the Valiant is, and we saw this in their last series against the Toronto Defiant, is they don't have a lot of flexibility in their wheelhouse. We haven't seen them play a very effective Sombra. It looked okay on Lijiang Tower, but the one time that they did end up mirroring, that's when the Shock got the best of them.
Yeah, the mirror it can be quite tough, and they ended up on, at least on the first round, just kind of destroying the Pharah Mercy, and Shock ended up switching too late. Shock ended up shoring up on Gardens, and then they switched super early, not even before the first point went over to the Valiant. But is the same thing going to kind of occur here? I want to see if the LA Valiant are able to set up Seeker once more. I mean, we've seen a ton of Echo on this map recently, and Echo in general has just been much more of a popular hero in this half of the season. It's been interesting to see like basically perma Summer Tracer with the dive throughout the first half of the year, and then now we're jumping into a meta where actually these Echoes, it's actually kind of a nutty pick. After the change, you get your ult way quicker, but you get your copy ult a little bit slower. So people are just opting to go for like a copy on an Ana to get that instant value with the nade, sleep, and even healing with the nano. A very neutral pick is the Ana, but it works out so well. And on maps like this with so much height and so much variance on how you can attack these points, Echo's like a perfect hero.
The Echo duplicate is also kind of like Primal Rage in that sense where you can use it as like almost an insurance policy of like making sure you stay alive so you can be more effective and go deeper with your dives. Because as you see there, Seeker goes aggressive, but he doesn't have any way to get out. So if he doesn't get instant value, as soon as he wasn't able to take down Renko, he just has nowhere to go.
Yeah. Ooh, can they get on light? Yes. Good shot from Renko there.
Smile.
Smile. He will be smiling. There we go. There he is. Cracker smile.
He looks... I can't get over, man. He's in a permanent state of happiness.
I know, it's great.
Just happy to be here.
Yeah, exactly. Aren't we all? I mean, at the end of the day with Seeker, like you said, just trying to go in like that, Jumbin's got the biggest weight on his shoulders. Like putting a bubble down like that, just having Renko protected, encapsulated, is going to stop a lot of that value from the Echo.
And that is such an important move. The Winston dropping the bubble defensively, giving your Ana some level of protection. Ultimate's coming up here, Jack. CJ almost has the nano boost, but Probe's charged up a quick EMP on the other side.
Really has. EMP online. Around about the first ult of the game with CJ with that nano. Is he just going to solo EMP CJ here?
Are they going to go first? They are.
Yeah, he's going to solo EMP CJ. CJ can't get the nano off in time. Oh no, not even Lai can save him, sadly. And Jumpy just goes for the drop down. No supports for the Valiants. And Krawi's asleep. Now he's asleep with the fishes. It will be soon. Well, they just killed Lucamino. And in fact, they killed Renko too. How is this happening? Nos and Krawi just hit the dive of the century there. Closest spawn points though for the defenses, it feels like. Especially getting to the high ground at least. They get Nos.
If they can, that would be huge. It would essentially stop the Valiant from ever being able to go in. But maybe even with Kroy going down, how do they dive if they don't have their main tank? It looks like they are going to slow down, wait for Kroy to get back. So that should also give time for the Shock backline to get back into position.
Oh, it's
just lurking forever.
Summer gameplay. There's the hack onto Lai, does get out of bubble. Oh, yes, CJ gets the nano off, and it's actually on Seeker. Jumping on the Primal Rage, causes a bit of disruption. Now proper with the nano. He is on the high ground, but like there's no one really clearing his sights right now to try and take down. I mean, I say that as Seeker lands right next to him and it duplicates to Winston. Pulse bomb from Nos. It was a floor pulse, but it's good enough to get the kill at least. And here comes the rally for Lucamino. The only sustainable, the only source of sustain now for the San Francisco Shock, just getting battered away by Krawi. It's the worst spot for Lucamino to be on, honestly. At least they do manage to get a couple of points here, being the LA Valiant. Maybe a little bit more too, if they can just clear Jumbin. He's so low. Any support at all? Luckily, I guess Renko is going to be able to come back in time, and Lucamino is on the high ground. The EMP does hit one, and they do execute well. Lai goes down, the Jumbin is traded. 2 and a bit ticks for the LA Valiants. Again, just feels like LA Valiant are dragging the Shock all the way down. Very scrappy team fights.
Yeah, that pulse bomb from Proper onto the backline just really slowed everything down. The Valiant didn't have any way to continually take a long-form fight. They're just going to have to walk away with their tails between their legs. And now there's only 30 seconds remaining here, Jack. Final fight for the Valiant. They do have 2 ticks, so they don't need to get everything at once. But back's against the wall. CJ coming up on the nano. Seeker almost has the duplicate as well, so they have ultimates to get in. How do the Shock deflect it?
Proper's near in a pulse one though, man. And that's got CJ's name written all over it. There's the nano onto Seeker, nice straight to the high ground. Those sticky bombs, I think every single one connected there onto Lucamino. Seeker is in a little bit of trouble with that bubble from Jumbin, actually isolating him from the heals, but he's all good. That extra damage from the nano, plus the help of Krawi there, finishing off the tank of the San Francisco Shock, and that 33% looked easy for Valiant. And there's the first point unlocked, and here we go. And Barney's second, everybody. It's going to be a ride.
Siki utilizing that nano boost instantly, gets those sticky bombs onto Lucamino, and from there, nothing the Shock can do.
disgusting.
It's so much damage. Like, as a support player, it's impossible to hold up to that level of scrutiny and that level of damage.
I mean, you get one shot.
Yeah,
like,
literally.
It's like, well, there's nothing I can do there. My team cannot blame me.
Shock. They did have an effective hold on the first point, but Probe going down, this could lead to a cascade of ultimates here from the Valiant. If they want to sort of push their objective, they might be able to get this second point without really having an equal fight.
Nos with the devious look in his eyes. Wants to get to that backline ASAP with that pole spot.
Junbin's in trouble on the left side here. He is getting healed up. Seeker duplicating an armor.
Oh, what a sleep from Renko. Cross map, mid-air sleep onto Seeker. Does get hacked. And no nade, no sleep, no nothing from Seeker though. That duplication just completely dominated by Renko there.
And gave enough time for Pope to get back. As soon as he comes back, instantly EMPs Croy, so he can't get off the Primal Rage. And that's going to be a hold here for the second point. And because of how effective their first point hold was, there's only a minute remaining still for the Valiant Jack.
Yeah, still 2 pulse bombs too. I mean, Nos needs to get this on the back line. Needs to force this nano from Renko. Pulse the brig, force the nano onto the brig. Maybe you can kill her. Or if you're proper, get a double kill. Ooh. Hello.
Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see, nothing to see.
He's going for the backline. He wants to stick the backline. Oh, he fell.
Kind of messed up his little little dash there. Little blink even.
Corey asleep, primaling in the top room.
And he's hacked too. Oh, this is rough. Rather uncoordinated in terms of this dive, but they do force Renko onto the low ground at least, but he's all good. Look at the amount of Shock members right around him. Pulse bomb! Oh, no!
He turned the shield!
No! Nos with the pulse bomb onto the back of Lucamino, and he turned the shield away, just killing Renko in the process.
He's so low!
Lucamino is very low. That rally, armor, overhealth, all gone. Nano onto Crowy, and there you go. No backline members for the Shock now, and no health, no chance. You either get held on first or you complete second. That is the Numbani way, and it will be Valiant completing that second point. 1 minute and 30 seconds, pushing on to the last now.
Nos has been... We always talk about Seeker on the Valiant, but Nos has been secretly very good for this team, especially on the Tracer.
Consistent.
He comes up with those consistent pulse bombs onto the backliners that really opens the door for the Valiant. They were in a tough spot, but with that pulse bomb onto Renko, or onto Lucamino that killed Renko, he was able to get through that second point. Big EMP onto CJ.
Oh, the pocket's good. Suzu straight on the ground. And CJ with the revenge kill onto Probe. Pretty tough to target to take down at the best of times, but the healing coming out from Lyre there was just too good, too much.
Croy switched over to the Queen. Junbin responded by going over to the Ramatra.
Renko dead.
Weird spots for the third point, but Shock just keep losing members.
Renko dead, Jumpin isolated, Seeker with the EMP. Valiant, okay. Pushing on, they're going to get another fight here, at least. No, that's a big pick.
Seeker was all the damage, he had the EMP, they needed that to close out.
He will be able to get back in time though, 30 seconds to go as a Sombra, you should be able to get there, and smartly though, Valiant are backing off.
Yeah, Probe. I really liked his Sojourn so far in this series. But Seeker is coming back with that EMP. They also have the Kitsune Rush. That's going to be so hard for the Shock to deal with. They don't have the rally or the nano boost to stand up to it.
There's the EMP, hits 2. Probe jumping, hacked, Probe dead. Probe's been laid out too. Probe's in a little bit of trouble, has to walk away, or at least dash. Both pulse bombs, or at least one of them's gone. Probe's still got his. And there's the nano boost, on to jump in, trying to stay on the point. Hasn't got Nemesis form just yet. As Probe switched over to Bastion, trying to get some additional damage. That rampage is good. Hits Renko, hits jump in, but Probe is coming out. Wheels mode activated. And there's the annihilation. Just way too much damage now. You're right, Scott. I mean, Lyre's got rally, but it ain't happening, Chief. It ain't happening. But they do manage to push it all the way to the third point. Pretty damn respectable Numbani, that is for sure. It was just Shock with too many ults there at the very end.
Yeah, but that only happened. The only reason we got to the point of too many ultimates is because Probe was able to take down Seeker with the EMP. If that pick didn't happen, Seeker drops that EMP and the Shock don't have the ultimates to respond. So massive play there from Probe. I even like the Bastion pick at the very end. You saw how much damage he put out. Like,
oh yeah.
Probe also, talking about this rookie coming in here for the Shock, he also made that incredible Widow switch at the end of that series against the Washington Justice. He has a lot of confidence in himself to be able to make the right choices at the right time, and
oh yeah,
it's paying dividends for the Shock.
Sometimes you just need a bit of confidence, you know?
You need it, especially as a rookie. That's something that a lot of rookies lack when they come into this league. They're now playing against the best in the world, and that sort of shakes them a little bit, but Probe looks right at home next to Proper.
is the head-to-head between Nos and Proper right now. Also, Kim's looking at 2-0, but Proper with 0 deaths, didn't die that whole round, actually. Wow, it's actually kind of nasty. All right.
He really does. He's not a very, I would say, greedy Tracer player as a whole. He's not going for those like triple blinks into these like big picks. He just plays consistent, and he's always pumping out damage and then getting... That's why his pulse bomb attach rate is so high. He very rarely tries to stick backliners all the time. He goes for tanks. He's willing to just understand what objective he needs to get at any moment. As now the Shock, their turn to attack, and what am I looking at?
What is this? Probe, Widow, Proper... Okay, and then they get Pocket 2 with the Echo.
I don't know what Junbin does in this composition. The Mercy Echo
exists, I think.
is pretty common, and then you have a Widowmaker, so they're looking for picks. They're trying to force the Valiant into a bad position.
I mean, Probe just dies. You've got no support, because Lucamino ain't looking at you, I'm afraid. There's the hack onto Lucamino, falls back to the health pack. Should be good, but not for long. Don't Glock. Okay, all good, all good. We saved you a clip there. All good. Seeker does manage to at least hack the pack again. Okay, Probes
wow.
Off the Widow.
Junbin takes out Nos with a dagger from across on the high ground. That's so important.
Alrighty, well, there you
That's what
go.
the Queen does in this composition.
I mean, yeah, it's just they snipe Tracers with knife. Perfect. Reminds me of the old Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, the hatchet from across the map. Yup. Or throw a knife from model. Nice nade onto Renko and Proper. There you go. First point completed. 5 minutes of the time back. Valiant just kind of fell over there. I mean, Nos dies, and then it was just too much damage, and they just couldn't step up.
Yeah, you can't knock it if it works. It did exactly what the Shock wanted to. They forced the Valiant into an uncomfortable position, and they eventually find the pick. So now how does this comp snowball onto the second point?
Oh, hiding in the bushes. Like that.
Seeker with an EMP now, but Shock have the ultimate to respond. Lucamino has the Valkyrie.
Well, that's...
Nos again.
Wow, Nos just goes down again, yeah. Was that a manual hack from Probe, maybe? 100% sure how that went down, but EMP, they're sustaining, even with a member down. But with Lucamino popping the bow, like, you're not going to be able to kill Mercy, and she's healing everybody, plus giving them damage boost. There's the EMP from Probe, no jump in to follow up, but you got Proper, he's damage boosted. Oh, what a sleep! Good sleep from CJ. I mean, they're still picking up kills, and of course, Mercy still has the resurrection, so Jumpin's back into the fight in quite short fashion, quite quick fashion.
Rampage on the back line, didn't get anything. Yeah, Laya pops the rally to just be able to live through the anti-heal of the Rampage, but Shock have utilized almost all their ultimates to get to this point.
Oh my god, they're just layering these ults like a cake right now. Just one after the other, after the other, after the other, and the cherry on top will be this point cap. 3 minute plus. I mean, you're looking at a 4+ minute push into last, and you don't even need to cap the point. 5 minutes and 15 seconds on the body.
Valiant are just trying to come up with answers to what the San Francisco Shock are doing.
On Cass now?
Yeah, now he's on Cassidy. Croy moves over to the Ramatra, and the Shock, they seem to have a great idea of, okay, if the Valiant do this, this is what we switch to. Proper now on the Sojourn, Junbin on the Ramatra. I guess that's the value you have when you have Probe and Proper in the lineup. Either can play Sojourn at such a high level.
Magnus out here playing chess. They do this, I do this. Thinking 17 steps ahead. Pulse bomb from Nos. Still kills Renko. No attach required.
Felt like Renko was well out of that one, and without the healing, you can see Junbin just not able to stay alive.
You know something? Yeah, it's gonna sound a little bit weird, but okay. you know what sound I really like in Overwatch for some reason? You know when Ram crosses his arms and you shoot it and it makes that like noise?
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds pretty cool. Like, I don't know why I like that sound so much. I just like shooting.
Are you gonna make me say cool again on broadcast? I'll do it to you.
Cool. All right, last fight potentially here, especially with this EMP.
Oh, never mind.
All right, take it back. Anyway, reset everybody. We got more fights. All good.
Yeah. Fortunately for the Shock, they have 4 minutes. Such a fast first and second point capture. Junbin actually over to the Winston, so maybe they weren't as confident with their Ramatra switch as they were hoping, and it's these 2 pretty ugly fights here for the Shock so far.
Very, very
rough. Third point.
Yeah. All good though. I mean, still got 3 minutes.
Yeah.
You say that. It's always the case, isn't it? You're like, well, you got 3 minutes. And it's like, oh, I got 2 minutes. Oh, I got a minute. Wait, it's last fight. Oh, okay. But it's all good. I mean, Pro has EMP. All you need to do is catch Lyra and CJ here. If you stop CJ using that Nano Boost, it's going to be good. There's the pulse, hitting the floor. No connection from Nos, sadly. I mean, that would have stalled out Shock even longer.
You can see how spread out the Valiant are playing.
Look at the anti on Crowley. He's in trouble. There's the EMP. Can't cross his arms any longer or use that Annihilation. That Nano went out, but it went on to Seeker of all people, and he can't even unleash the Overclock just yet. Only now is he getting online. No, 99%. I take it back. Because Proper just rips his and rips Seeker's head clean off. Oh, I mean, he's just spawn capping him at this point. Nos comes back, hits the recall after he gets naded. There's the Annihilation, but it's not there. The San Francisco Shock steamroll over the Valiant on Numbani. And with 5 minutes and 15 seconds going into last, it just looked like a tale that was going to wrap up very quickly, and quickly it did.
It's a great adaptation from Probe. You could see he was setting up to EMP the backline, but he sees Corey get antied,
he's like,
as
what?
you saw, and he's like, well, if I just EMP him, there's no way he's going to get the support. After Crawley falls, the rest of the dominoes do as well, with Proper with a great overclock. The Valiant, they looked like they were in control on their first point attack, but the Shock have been throwing some weird curveballs at them in this series so far, Jack.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, every single time they see Valiant swap, they're like, right, okay, we need to play this. We need to swap to this. Okay, we're going to swap from the Echo. We're going to go on something else. We're going to change up the backline. And it's working out for them. Even this very strange looking attack, probably did get insta-killed on the Widowmaker, sadly. But they always kind of know what they're doing. Playing one step ahead of the Valiant right now. Although Valiant, how they end up beating the Shock on the map number 1? Well, it was scrappiness.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what they need to lean on again, just like bringing Shock down to a point where they're taking these strange fights. They're taking these weird 1v1s like across the map, just winning them out in 1v1, 2v1 situations. Circuit Royale, you know, I think as Escort ends up going, you can't really, there's not a lot of scrappiness involved in this game mode. That's very much more of a push thing. It's very much of a control thing. But I mean, Circuit, a very different map in terms of architecture and comps we're probably going to end up seeing there.
Yeah, it's very different. I don't think we've seen, I might be wrong on this one, I don't think we've seen either of these teams play Circuit Royale this season yet. So something new to learn.
Well, there we go. We'll have to wait and see after the break. Circuit Royale up next.
Wheels mob.
Welcome back, everybody. Yeah, look down at your desk right now. Make sure you have your glasses on or your contact lenses in or whatever you use to read and look at screens because, yeah, I want to make sure you're seeing this correct. Jump-In's actually going on to support as we see Max come in on tank. So Renko sitting back and then Jump-In's role swapping right now. So, okay. Going on to Circuit Royale, which is, you know, Zen, Bab kind of dealio. Maybe Jump-In plays Zen, but this is odd.
Junmin plays Zen better than Renko?
Yeah, exactly right. I'm like,
it doesn't really make sense. I don't know what Krusty's been cooking up during this mid-season break, but they've gone in a strange direction. Max coming in, he's historically been the off-tank player for this team. That's what he was picked up for, so not surprising to see him come in to play the Sigma. It's what everyone plays here on Circuit Royale, or you play Winston and lose. One of the two.
Pick one.
You know, I'm curious to see how this is going to work. I was curious before we even saw these level of swaps of Junbin moving over to support, but this is unprecedented. I don't think anyone would have guessed this here for the Shock.
Yeah, Jump-In on support when Max plays tank and they have Renko. Very odd. Well, we'll soon see what he plays. What is he going to play?
Maybe he's a god tier Baptiste?
That's what I'm thinking, like Lucamino on the Zen and then him on Bap.
Yeah, well,
I mean, that's what he's hovering.
This better be who plays
tank. Max, Seeker Sigma. I can. I'd want to see.
Oh my lord, this is.
All right, well,
something.
There you go. Did kind of call it half right at least. Yeah, Lucamino on the Zen, Jumping on Bap. Okay. Okay. Proper says. Jumping plays Sig. We're fooling you all. Max is actually playing support. Baiting. How odd. Well, let's see how this works out. Because that's very strange. You bring in Renko, flex support player.
He should be able to play Baptiste.
Yeah,
right?
Like, pretty damn good flex support player at that. Like, if he's on the San Francisco Shot, there's still clearly a lot of talent they've kind of scouted there. But, yeah, Baptiste not in his wheelhouse. Very strange. Probe on the Widowmaker does get me a little bit excited, though, I will say. He's going against Seeker.
It's been impressing me so far with his rookie performances. Let's see how he does on the Widowmaker, especially against a player of the caliber of Seeker. So it will be mirror compositions, except proper over on the Sojourn versus the Hanzo from NOS. I'm not a huge fan of the Sojourn. Obviously, it has those massive swing potential with the overclock. It's better than the Dragon in that respect, but I think the consistent damage and threat of a Hanzo is better in the long run.
Yeah, I would have to see those nerfs too. Maybe you can even switch out the Widowmaker there, but... Yo, NOS is in trouble. Oh my god.
So much
pressure is just crazy. Both DPS are looking at NOS right now. Nice Sonic though.
He's going to need to get out here soon.
He's got the mini behind him. He's getting heals. He's just shooting through the daisies right now. Oh, nice headshot. Probably just slide straight at his face though. And with that lamp down, NOS hasn't got really much help at all. Yeah, that's really rough. NOS goes down, and now Proper just slides to the staircase. He's got a decent angle. They can dislodge Proper, it's perfect, but the support he's getting is just unprecedented currently. And there you go, Krawi falls.
That's why he's playing the Sojourn. You can see he wants to essentially force the objective. Something that can be problematic when you play the Widowmaker Hanzo is that you're at the mercy of someone hitting a shot. But as the Sojourn, he's taking the position away from the shot, from the Valiant, and almost daring them to hit a shot, and they just never did. So Proper's able to take out NOS, and from there, nothing they can do.
There's sights for Seeker. It's kind of unfortunate. Their Lyre ended up using Window at the same time as NOS did end up going down. Oh, good pick though.
Traded back though.
Lucamino with the right clicks. Yeah, you take that trade though.
Yeah, Junbin going down. They just don't have the healing. So they're not going to be able to sort of step up in the same way that they usually could.
Okay, Probe kind of played Seeker there. Oh, Probe with a headshot onto Krawi too. Didn't even need to slam Krawi back down. He was dead before he even hit the floor. Good headshots coming out from Probe. Good push so far. That was cheeky too. Probe's little position now I actually really like. Like, the destructible fence line there, if you're the enemy Widowmaker shooting into that, you have to hit the little bit of rubble and then hit the person, or like get them on the pixel headshot. But if you're in the defensive position, you've got that whole bit in front of you, so you can take 2 headshots. Oh, not 2 headshots, sorry, 2 shots at you. It reminds me of the old Venom Mine trick. I don't know if you've ever seen it, where you put the Venom Mine in front of your face.
So then they would shoot the mine?
Yeah, they shoot the mine, but because you can't kill your own mine, you shoot through it. Very old, like Hanamura tech that a lot of Widowmakers used to use. Kind of reminds me of that. Yeah, there you go. Old Widowmaker techs. Not something you usually see. But look at this time now.
5 minutes, dude. They're absolutely running through this. We've seen this before, though, and teams have been held on the 3rd point. It can be very difficult to assail because all of a sudden, Valiant find 1 pick, they start holding the positioning. It can get very difficult to step up, especially as a Sojourn. It's just hard to be able to force positioning like he did on that 1st point where he slowly wide swings, because there's a high ground. How do you get that high? Roy dropping the flux, but Transcendence to respond from Luke Mino.
All right, decent to get to the Transcendence out. There's both windows. Oh, through the window! Just a pixel of his head. That's a fully charged Widowmaker headshot through a window. Enough to one-shot Crowie. There you go, the snowball will continue. Not even going to make a snowman out of this one. They're just going to make a mountain.
Slayer has to jump off the edge, get a reset going. It's now 4 minutes remaining. There goes that high ground I was talking about, Jack. Now they have to assail through this archway. It's very difficult to assail because you have to peek through the archway, and you can see where the Valiant are all spread out. You're essentially walking into a firing range.
Oh, Seeker wants Proper's head again. Okay, that looked a little bit sketchy from Proper, I will say. Slamming himself against the wall, but Seeker was a little bit too scared to peek him.
His Proper overclock needs to be the thing that gets them in this fight.
Now he's taking a lot of damage.
It's go time.
There it is.
Transcendence utilized as Proper just snipes from across the map. Nos in trouble, half HP, made that 1 HP. He ends up going down, just some spheres from Max being flung up onto the high ground, and that will be it, I would imagine. No chance you get away from that. 3 minutes and 16 seconds. Jump. Bap diff, bap gap, bap diff.
This is what happens when you let someone off-roll. You can see Luke Mino having a chuckle with that one.
Jumpin is still typing. Like, you can see him like slightly leaning across. That's so, ignore him.
Oh my god. Well, you know, Junbin did his job. He didn't get a final blow, but he only died once. So, I don't know. Baptiste is pretty easy to play in this composition. I will say, you just got to heal your team, and when they get low, you throw a lamp down. Overwatch 1, let's go.
3 Babs. He said Finn, Violet, and Junbin, the 3 Babs.
The 3 greatest support players in history.
Exactly, yeah. Why Finn? Shu? Okay, Proper's like laying him out now. Why Finn? Shu exists.
Finn's catching a stray here.
Live debate in the match chat right now who's the greatest support player.
Finn's still on the team and Proper's flaming him.
It's so rough.
Well, you know, in his defense, he's probably right. Shu is one of the greatest flex supports in the league, but still.
Yeah. But still, catching random strays, not even playing? Come on, man. That's rough. That's real rough.
Oh, it's good to see a bit of banter in match chat.
Yeah. The 3 greatest Baps of all time. Violet, Junbin, and Finn. All right, Valiant, what you got on defense, huh? What you got on offense, sorry. Double sniper still. Probably still running the Soj, no real surprise there. It's just so good with the overclock. Once you see it come alive.
Yeah, he didn't really get anything done on that defense. Honestly, the entire Valiant team, they only had 2 final blows.
That's rough.
In that round. Just unable to stop the shock.
I mean, that's just what happens when you play snipers.
Yeah.
Like, that is straight up just sniper gameplay for you.
Live and die by how strong your Widowmaker is.
Yeah.
And Probe's been playing exceptionally so far. He had a couple of really important shots. That one on Croy through the window, that pretty much completely split open the 3rd point.
Well, they haven't strayed from the light, that is for sure. They haven't gotten a random Winston comp and trolled, so all good.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. Nice dodge from Crowie. They've been belied by the snipers in that match for this map.
Yeah. So now this is the difficult position to take. Look at how much damage is coming. Every time Croy steps up, they have a Zenyatta, a Baptiste, a Widowmaker, a Sojourn. They're just pumping out so much damage. Croy goes aggressive with his kinetic grasp, hits a rock onto Max. Might force some positioning.
So much healing though from Junbin. Score window in
There we go.
10%. There's the first kill. Body shot. Bandit. Make that headshot Bandit. Boom, boom. 2 kills for Seeker. It's what you want to see. You need to do this. If you're the Widow, you need to come alive on these points, especially when this time bank was insurmountable on this kind of map. Body shot. Oh, almost take down Lucamino.
You can see they don't want to let the shock away, but Max should make it.
That's really rough, actually. Not getting a couple of kills there is not going to afford you a lot of space. And yeah, even trying to force something with a window is very aggressive.
You want to get these staggers, because if you get the staggers, you retain the advantage positioning, but the shock don't want to give it to him.
Lamp. Oh, good snipe out of the air by Probe. Lamp ain't going to save you there. Need with the Transcendence. CJ only just got it, though. Oh, proper Genji.
Transcendence.
Okay. Transcendence, you try and force it. You need another kill. You need another kill right now. If you're the Valiant, you can't let anybody else escape. They're going to be able to get it too with that Flux. Oh, there's a Transcendence and a Lamp. Seeker finds Proper again, and now Sights have been activated by Probe to try and find something. But Seeker, there you go.
Okay, Junbin. I don't know about that one.
He was trying.
He saw Shu do it one time.
He was like, I am the new Shu.
I'm in the top 3 Baptiste,
yeah.
right? I can do this.
Babcat.
Liar letting him know.
Jumpin telling him to stop too.
It's all fun and games until you throw.
Wow, there you go. Live and die by the sniper. Live and die by the Seeker. The Seeker of headshots right now.
The proper Genji is interesting as well. It's a gamble of a pick because the Genji, you can execute the snipers, but there are... Ignore that in the bottom left.
Ignore that. Cover up the face cam.
But it can be difficult to get in, and if Seeker's hitting shots, as you've seen, he's taken down Proper so many times, and now Liar gets into the action as well.
That is what, 3 fights in a row that Proper's died first. Not even on the Genji, that's 2 times on the Genji, 1 on the Soj. Very fast burst. You're talking about how quick Shock were. Valiant about to overtake him right now. 4 minutes and 40 seconds.
Oh, he hits the shot.
They're on the last straight now, Scott. The last straight.
And Shock don't have much in the tank. Proper does have the blade. If CJ can get up to his Transcendence before Proper gets this blade, that would be huge.
They're going to trap him in here. Shock have to rotate.
Yeah.
They have to rotate to low ground because they got to know Liar's got window. Seeker's touching currently, so the car is making its way. It will be Proper being there to touch. Same with Max. There's no chance for a C9. Seeker's in trouble. Use the grapple to get away, but now Liar on the high ground with the window, completely encapsulating Shock right now. A nice little wall. And Proper's dead again. No blade for the San Francisco Shock. They might sig-9 them, in fact. Nosta's end up falling, but it's the last chance now for the Shock to try and come back into this fight. Max finally getting the Flux up. He does throw it in, but will he end up going down? No, Seeker with a body shot takes him out. And the Los Angeles Valiants are going to take over this unless Proper comes out clutch. 1 kills 2, maybe some more. Doesn't even need it. Seeker's in the front line, but takes the head clean off of Proper's shoulders. A Transcendence for the Valiant to push them forward, and Seeker finds yet another kill. It will be Max on the Diva to come back onto the point to try and stabilize. And they do have the closest spawns, but Seeker's still onto the high ground, free firing into the spawn doors. Nos is dead, yes. Proper with the deflect. But is there any chance they push it on? No, Valiant so close to just dominating that first push. 3 minutes and a bit though, and now the struggle really begins.
4 deaths, but the blade pays off at the very last second, just able to hold on. Max, I love the switch over to Diva. The Valiant just didn't have an answer to that pick. As soon as CJ goes down, it's over. Fortunately for the Valiant, because of how quickly they took the first 2 points, they still have 3 minutes remaining, but look at how many ultimates they have. They have nothing, Jack.
David threw the Transcendence there at last to try and salvage that last fight.
Optimistic.
I mean, that was almost a record on that point, like straight up. Oh, Lucamino dies to sit. Dude, Seeker is coming.
Ooh, that would
If he hit that shot, I think I would have lost it. I'm going to be honest.
Oh, Jumpin!
But Jumpin ends up taking a body shot, and then another couple of body shots from Liar. Max is dead.
They're falling apart.
Proper. Oh, you got to know deflect was coming there. Oh, nice dash. Almost perfectly timed there with the Shurikens to just insta-kill. Transcendence, Rock from the back line. Or the front line, I should say. I mean, Proper's got nothing. Jumpin sat behind a window right now, but Lucamino's on the flank. Decent flank, however, as Crowie's just kind of isolated on a small island. Lucamino, 38 HP. He's going to be able to back up, at least for the time. 2 minutes to go, but it's a very slow, staggered out fight. Not a clean wipe like you need on this point, Scott. Valiant are going to be able to do this as Lucamino just 1v1 Seeker who's on the Tracer. Somehow again, they managed to hold on.
Lucamino coming back from the spawn has the Transcendence, and the Valiant can't do anything about that, so he just stalls long enough, just lives to tell the tale, and therefore the San Francisco Shock respawners come back, and the Valiant, they're so close. They just can't finish it. And the proper Genji has been paying off. As much as he's been getting picks, he's finding picks in the integral fights.
I mean, on this point of the map, it's probably the best point for Genji. There's so many bits of high ground. You can go on the flank easily. You know the Valiant want to split up. They don't want to play as like a death ball, which is exactly what they're doing right now, to be fair. They know they can't get picked off again by Proper, who's got Blade. I mean, he's 3% away.
CJ has the Transcendence to deal with it though, Jack.
Oh, you are dicing with Death.
Oh
there you
why
go.
are you doing that,
and
bro?
Death has been something that you're going to face. I mean, I don't know what that sentence was, I'm going to be honest. Still not feeling well.
Early Transcendence. They have the Blade after this. You can see Proper's just waiting.
He's waiting for it. Blade to the ceiling. Does insta deflect. Doesn't manage to get the reset though. Don't know sure where Nos went. Krawi ends up right in front of him though. All good. Lucamino dead, but again, you're struggling here with the Valiant. You need a clean wipe on the Shock, and it's just not coming. I mean, you got no front line. Seeker's trying to do his best, but he ain't standing up. No shots. Proper with the Blade, and the rest of the follow-up from the San Francisco Shock will end up just whittling this time back down to OT. We have 20 seconds to go. CJ switching to Brig, Nos to Tracer. I mean, the Valiant, they're on the last limbs on what looked like a record-setting time bank, or going on to third, is now in OT.
They can't rely on snipers in this final fight. They just need to go to characters that are going to find picks however they can. Nos should be able to touch as the Tracer.
With Nos.
Yeah.
He does get there. Krabi gets rocked. There's Probe taking out Seeker. I mean, this is just going from worse to man. It's just a shooting gallery now for Probe.
They can't do anything.
A disappointing finish here for the Valiant. Shock are gonna hold. Another BAP gap in chat from Junbin. That was an unbelievable push from the Valiant. But just Shock snuff him out at the very end. It was just a slow, grueling fight. And when you're in those situations, you do need a clean team fight. I mean, but it was the Valiant that was getting 3 picks to start off. But the Shock were just able to hold on with 2 people. Able to hold off with Proper's Blade. Just stalling enough for Max to come back on the D.Va. The Transcendence to come out from Lucamino. Just such a rough final push. I mean, Seeker came alive. He did what the team needed him to do, but it was just not enough to finish out Circuit.
And we talked about it, you live and die by the Widowmaker. Seeker was the one living up to the hype. He was getting them their foot in the door. But what was happening is every time they got the foot in the door, Proper slams it with the Genji. He's just the gatekeeper. He's waiting at this archway for anyone to step up. As soon as they did, they got taken out.
Yeah, he's just relying on his mechanics to just take these 1v1s, these 2v1s. I mean, the San Francisco Shock, to put it into perspective, Scott, that was the 3rd fastest completion.
Wow.
On Circuit Royale. 3:16 left in the time bank, puts Shock at 3rd place in fastest completions on that map. And Valiant probably would have been first, to be fair.
Yeah.
If they managed to finish that out, probably would have taken that record. The San Francisco Shock with 2 maps, match points. Scrappy Valiant coming up big on Lijiang, very much their map at this point. End up falling flat on Numbani, on Circuit. We're going on to Esperanza, another map they face the Gladiators on in that slugfest of a 5-game series. In just an extravaganza for the Valiant organization and the Valiant players. Can they just take this to a map number 5? We'll have to wait and see after this break. Don't go anywhere. Just Shock need to close this out. Otherwise, Valiant, they're just going to walk home with this one. Everybody, welcome back. The San Francisco Shock. It's all back to normal now. Don't worry. Don't worry. Or maybe worry, I don't know. Jumbin's back looked pretty good. Renko is back in. You can all continue smiling as Jumbin jumps back onto the tank roll. Honestly, it was a pretty fun experiment, let's say, with Jumbin on the Batiste. They did end up setting the 3rd fastest record on Circuit Royale, and Valiant almost set the #1 record, but they just couldn't end up finishing out on Circuit. Got held for 4+ minutes. And it was pretty devastating after seeing Seeker coming alive on the Widowmaker. And here's actually the stats for the Widows. I mean, Seeker was doing almost nothing on their defense, but on their offense, just dominant.
Yeah, he was all over the place, and he was the reason that they almost had that sort of record-breaking capture here, because he was just finding picks like these time and time again. And when you're the Shock, how do you stand up to this? And the answer that Proper came up with is, don't take the duel, find a new way to fight him, and that's why he switched over to Genji, and it got really difficult for Seeker as that happened. So
that shot.
Oh yeah, Widowmakers these days are just on a different level. It's unreal. Like, this standard is 25% crit hit accuracy, which is just bonkers, like how many headshots they get.
Yeah, that's standard, which is insane, which is considered like, obviously like in solo queue environment and like, you know, your career profile environment, like, that's pretty good. You see someone with that in queue and you're like, oh, they're pretty sick of Widow. Like, but in the league, when you're hitting these shots, and even more so, especially on that last one, if you're Probe or Seeker, like, yeah, you are carrying the team. And that's the map that's perfect for it at the end of the day, right?
And I remember back in 2018 when I was a player, Sire player had that, like, revolutionary game on Junkertown where he hit 30% crit hit accuracy and everyone was like, he's cheating or he's an AI, like he's just better than everyone else. And now 30% is standard in a way. Like, if you're not hitting 30% at least in some of your games, then you're not holding up. But we're moving on to Esperanza.
Every year the players get better. Every single year. You look back, it's always funny having those conversations like, oh, what team would beat X team now? Who would beat the Atlanta Reign now? Would the Vancouver Titans of old, the old Runaway squad, would they beat the Atlanta Reign right now? Like, players just get better. The game evolves. Obviously, there's more heroes.
Yeah.
Which less is players. Also a big thing. But yeah, like, there's less players, right? I mean, at the end of the day, the talent pool just gets so concentrated that to be in the league, to be at this top position, and it feels like it's demonstrated in a way because of how many teams are 5-5. There's 5 teams that are 5-5 right now. We're just like unbelievable players, like people like Kevston or the Gladiators, right? We're going on to Esperanza, Scott. Enough of that chit chat. We'll see what Valiant want to do.
Valiant did this in their win against the Gladiators, where they came out playing the Junker Queen, expecting to go against the Winston. The Junker Queen style works quite well against what the San Francisco Shock are trying to play. What this would prompt the Shock to do is potentially move over to the Ramatra, then Valiant switch over to the Ramatra, and they end up in a favorable matchup. Let's see if that plays out again. Seeker on his Cassidy, trying to mitigate the dive with the hindered effect of the magnetic grenade.
Yeah. They're not gonna... I was going to say, I wonder if technically there is enough time. You don't want to get too much free push on the block, to be fair, but you could, if you really wanted to, jump back as Winston, like get a change hero, but they're more than happy to do at least the start of this map. Just sticking on the Winston versus the Queen, although fighting on the point is a bit of a problem. It's kind of the crazy seeing the evolution of how like the Winstons interact with the JQ. Nice name.
Goes so far.
Nice name.
And the Shock, you can see Probe's just trying to charge up EMP, but he's not looking for hacks and trying to find one player to dive. They hit a great biotic grenade, but there's just no follow-up, as Valiant are the ones that are in control.
Oh, decent nade. Actually, it's Crowy. Suzu, though, for backup. All good. Seeker's pretty low, though, and there is the first kill. Proper onto Seeker. So much of your damage now lacking, although Jumbin's going pretty low. That knife pulling him straight back down. You saw Jumbin trying to jump out there. And that is the big disadvantage of playing the monkey into the Queen, is that knife is just such a hindrance to your ability to leap in and out of these team fights. The Shock are getting free push on the robot right now as Crowy is stuck.
Yeah, he's got CJ with him, so they're able to stay alive together, but are they potentially staggering themselves because there doesn't seem to be a way out right now?
Alright, there's the bot. It's in control of Valiant again. EMP hits. It's 3. Seeker, as soon as he joined the fight again, he's straight back to the spawn room. I mean, they're going to allow the rush. Crowie's going to get a full HP off of all that increased healing and that rate of fire. Nano jump into the backline for jumping. And he's just forcing ultimates at this point. A good stun bash onto Proper, managed to get the recall regardless, and a pulse bomb straight into the backline of Laya, who was just overextended. If they kill Proper there, that's probably a life saved. But it's Proper. Come on, man. Even with a stun, the focus fire is just, it's not enough to take it down. A triple kill and some free push on the bot. If they get another kill here, it would be crazy, but it doesn't look like it's a possibility.
Yeah, and the bot is getting closer to the checkpoint, Jack. And the story of this round so far is just Seeker hasn't been able to get anything done. He is 0 for 2 right now. Every time he peeks his face out to shoot anything, he's getting dove.
Yeah, I'm going to be able to touch before that checkpoint unlocks. All good. Yo. Does manage to hit Jumpin. Jumpin has got Primal Rage, so he doesn't need to worry too much. Krawi, anti-naded. Receives the Suzu a little bit late. In fact, he used his shout in order to keep alive on the points. Seeker taking out Renko to start this one off and isolating Lucamino with that high noon. I mean, you're not isolating anybody here if you're jumping. It's more of a, not a distraction tool, but just more of a displacement on people like Krawi and Seeker. But Seeker, CJ, and Laya just hanging out together. So the Primal Rage, more of a survival tactic than anything.
Yeah, that's a big pick there from Seeker. Caught Proper with that magnetic grenade, and he just couldn't go anywhere. And now these are important picks because the way that the Valiant want to play this is they want to get Crory onto the cart, keep it moving, and then Seeker just takes this high ground. He walks up the stairs and he stands up here. If you're the Shock, how do you assail this? You have to rely on Probe's EMP or Proper's Pulse Bomb.
You're walking straight into a Queen ult though, and you have no Suzu. Nano boost onto the high ground. There's the Kitsune rush too, so Jumping can't really do anything here. As Nos plants a Pulse Bomb onto Renko's back, and then Jumping has to escape.
There was an EMP there as well. I don't really know where that one ended up, but it found no value.
Yeah, this is such a, like, it's a back and forth, but it very much feels like Valiant have every single answer for the Shock's engagement, these dives. And still Crowley holding onto this rampage. Nos is pushing in. Looks like a brief pause, though, for the San Francisco Shock. As Probe calls for the timeout. Every single engagement.
He's gone angry mode.
Wait, Lia's just, wait, he's super mad.
Raging.
He's actually, Lia hit the Primal Rage, but in real life. Like, okay.
This is what happens to him every time he goes sicko mode. You know that Lijiang Tower against the Gladiators? That was him too.
Just Primal Rage, red filter.
just on another level. He's going Super Saiyan right now.
The lighter Primal. All right, we're back in straight away. Good stuff.
Valiant have taken the lead here, and they are about to get the checkpoint, so now they're the ones in control. And as I said earlier, they needed to find a way to dislodge Seeker from this high ground, but without a nano boost or an EMP, or they find Laya instead.
What a stick. I think that was a Suzu from CJ. No hit marker from that pulse bomb. But Scott, they hit that checkpoint.
Yeah. That's a big checkpoint. They have the forward spawn, so Laya is going to respawn closer as well. So this is how you snowball an advantage.
Thank you for that jump in. Walk straight into Proper there with that magnate on it. All right, spawns. Haven't got the full ones anymore. Seeker forced down from the high ground. Still, Crowley holding onto that rush. Or the rampage even. Oh, Nos goes down. Is he just going to rampage? I mean, a one-man rampage isn't a bad thing here. He's just trying to line up for the two-piece. Does get antied, has to back up. He's got to be wary of that sleep, though, from Renko. If he dives in and he gets slept, even with the rampage, it could result in Lucamino and Renko surviving. But Probe going down. Go button now for the Valiant as they hear Lucamino also using his rally. There's the rampage, hits 2, Proper dead from it. The rampage being pretty decent. It's actually Lucamino isolating himself almost. Ideally there you want to be peeling away, getting Crowley away from the fight. But Lucamino just can't do any of that as he's pushed himself all the way to the backline of the Valiants. But a big kill onto Laya might just even this one up. This bot is in the center of the point right now with Valiant not in control whatsoever. Gonna give Probe enough time to get back with the EMP.
Oh my god, that biotic grenade onto Laya in the backline gave Lucamino an out. And somehow, some way, the San Francisco Shock, even though we were fragmented all over the map, they win the team fight, they take the checkpoint, and they're gonna take the lead, Jack.
Checkpoint and the lead.
All of a sudden, this Cassidy isn't playing out as well as it did against the Gladiators. The Shock are just coming up with answers, and Probe was able to hold on to that EMP because he was the one that went down first. Lia's got to be so careful. He's likely to be the target, him or CJ.
How easy is the dive to set up though onto CJ? It's pretty tough.
Yeah, you can see Jumbin, like, they want to EMP, but you can see Proper and Jumbin are trying to find avenues to get to this backline.
Well, I mean, Probe's got a perfect EMP. It hits 4, Seeker's way in the front line. And there's the execution, Proper in the high ground, little windows, and CJ and Seeker. After that EMP like that, I mean, the San Francisco shock. Oh no, the bleed. That's rough. I mean, still, you take that though. You hit a 4-man, you find 2 kills, but Krawi kill and jump in? Okay, maybe they're not going to get this spot as far as everybody kind of initially thought. I mean, that's a perfect fight. If Jumpin survives, they get the bot so far up, they get it almost up that ramp.
Yeah.
But Krawi coming up big with the 2 kills.
Fortunately for the Shock, they're the ones now with the forward spawn, so you can see it's not going to be that long before the San Francisco Shock can re-engage. Not too many ultimates for the Shock. They have the nano boost to put onto Jumbin if he wants to play aggressive.
All right, Krawi, what you got with this rampage? Managed to hit 2 people last time and kill Proper.
He's trying to find the backliners. They're the important ones.
He is, yeah. I mean, he's setting up. Lucamino's right in front of him. I know if he needed to be fair.
Yeah.
Boom, there's the axe. Straight on to Jumbin. He's got nano boost.
Proper bleeds out again.
Oh, man. Oh, the knife. Good sleep on Renko, though. Can they get this kill? Liars.
It would be big.
Doesn't want to overextend. Doesn't want to pay for it with his life. Okay. Checkpoint in the sights of the Valiant now.
Croy held on to that Rampage as well. Lucamino does have the rally, so if they do get Rampage, he can rally to deal with it. Probe has been charging another fast EMP.
Nice health pack hack. Full HP. 2 minutes to go for the Valiant to try and take this lead. About 20 meters behind currently. Wow. Probe taking a fair bit. High ground control for the Valiant. But they can't just hold that because they need push on the bot. They need push.
But the Valiant, the Shock, sorry, need to be careful. If they lose one fight, they will lose the advantage.
Proper's in trouble. Oh, the Magnate from around the corner. Just whipped it like it was unwanted. And there's the Rampage. Does hit 2, and Lucamino's in trouble. Is rallying right now. There's so much damage being thrown at him. Nope, the axe just cleaving through the shield. Just tearing him in half, and there you go, 75 meters plus for the LA Valiant. You see that golden line. They need to get it over that. With a minute to go, it's going to be an upward hill battle for the San Francisco Shock unless they can get a touch. Probe could triple blink, but no, they're going to let this one go.
Probe has another EMP. They've been very decisive so far in this map. The Valiant haven't really had the tools to be able to deal with it. Their backline's playing so far away that it isolates the front line if they're not stepping up.
Good check onto Probe. He does have to use a Translocator to get away, and Proper forced to use that recall too, so he can't play super aggressive. And the worst thing right now for the Shock is that the Valiant can back all the way up if they really want to. EMP's good, but is it good enough? Yeah, I don't think it hit anybody. They do isolate Krawi, however, and do take him out. But remember, with 30 seconds to go, the San Francisco Shock need control.
Yeah, the threat of the EMP, even though it didn't find value, it split the Valiant up. So this should be the San Francisco Shock taking the bot back, but 20 seconds remaining, we're going into overtime. Valiant only needs to find one more teamfight win to shut down the Shock and take it to map 5.
They're going to get forward spawn, Scott. They're going to be able to get to the high ground. You would imagine as a team, they have the rush. They've got pulse. If Nos can land a key pulse bomb here onto Renko and hopefully not have it Suzu'd, they could be all over. Probe swatching over to the Sojourn too, just to get that instant value from that railgun. They are on the high ground, Scott. They can drop on them at any moment. And there's the rush onto the height, then onto the lower. It's pretty good. Can Nos find this pulse? Proper's got one too. It's really Tracer versus Tracer right now.
Shock just disengaged. They realize they don't need to take the fight into it.
Jump it. He's already used his leap. He's got another one in just a moment, but I mean, they're nanoing for sustain.
Yeah. They were just able to hold. They traded the nano boost for the Kitsune rush, and now we're in a similar fight. Proper is lurking with this pulse
He wants
bomb.
the pulse. He sees a whole lot of them grouped up right now, but there's still a Suzu for CJ and a shield for Liar. This pulse bomb has to be massive. Proper needs to come to the rescue again for the San Francisco Shock. They are going to steal the bot. It might get away from the Valiant, but no, Nos is there. He hasn't got a pulse bomb of his own, so that must have gone a little bit wide. Seek with a high noon, doesn't find anybody. He actually drops straight on top of Jumpin's head. A Kitsune rushing a Suzu on Jumpin, keeps him alive for the time being as Proper takes down Nos. A pulse bomb still in his hand, he throws it out, but it hits nobody. That rally from Liar could be the thing that saves Valiant right now and brings us to a map number 5. Proper, they're dead. The LA Valiants, with not even an ultimate. They don't even need Krawi's ult to the very end. They're going to take us to a map number 5. The San Francisco Shock just couldn't quite contest that bot on that last push from the Valiant, and they end up going down. Proper just could not find that post bomb.
It was such a messy last fight. You could tell it was desperation mode from every single player. Just ultimates going back and forth, and as soon as that proper post bomb went wide and Fire was able to stay alive, pop that rally, there's nothing that the Shock can do. They close out the map, and it feels like deja vu, Jack.
It really does.
Valiant close out map 4 on Esperanza to take us to the final map, and the Shock feeling like the gladiators right now.
Are they gonna do it again? You see Liar, no more Primal Rage mode. Calm, cool, collected, moisturized, in his own lane. Ready to go to a map number 5. It is going to be Oasis. Oh, what a kunai. Cross map, you're feeling good about that.
There was just big plays back and forth. The Valiant have such a great understanding of how to play the macro with this Junker Queen versus the Winston. It can be difficult against the EMPs and they can lose some definitive team fights, but they just utilize this high ground so well, just getting Seeker in positions to like get value out of this magnetic grenade. Apply the hindered effect. You find value time and time again. Look at this. Nothing you can do.
Oh my god! Sorry. What? That's the second one we've seen not connect, but still kill somebody. It's like the Mercy on Numbani, where it just like arced over the edge. A silly ability, but it's very funny.
CJ Kiriko found a lot of value on this map. Just important picks just like those.
Yeah.
So you go to Oasis.
Map number 5, the Valiant have done it again. Can they find their second win of the season? The most scrappy team in the Overwatch League, a true upstart roster, and they're going against the MVP from last year in Proper, a probe, a hot new rookie, even Renko, the biggest smile in the Overwatch League. San Francisco Shock on the ropes. The Valiant want to take this one home. We're going to Oasis after the break. number 5. Valiant have done it once. Can they do it again? Almost the exact same scenario, Scott, from the other week when they faced the Gladiators. A very close Esperanza went the way of the Valiant. We're going to map number 5, the Shock. Right now, they're on the back foot. The Valiant, they just keep punching up.
And that's what you love to see. They're 1-9, but they're not giving up in the season. They don't even really have much to fight for other than just pride and memes. And that's the two things that they love the most.
Yep.
And that's what they're fighting for. While the San Francisco Shock, they're trying to get a good seeding here for the playoffs. They're trying to prove that they can be a contender as we go later into the season. There is one major difference though, Jack, going into map 5. We're going over to Oasis. This is a map that is very open. The Ramatra and the Rush style cannot be as effective as we saw on Lijiang Tower, and that's where they're really at their best. So, if you're the Valiant, how do you make adjustments on this map? Do you play some of the Junker Queen? We saw how effective that was on Esperanza, but maybe that's just because of the positioning that Seeker can get onto.
Let's have a little look. Well, they want to rush. That Rush style. Rowie on the Ram, Nos on the Mei. Saw that on Lijiang. Exactly the same kind of story here. Kind of the same map when you're talking about Control Center and University.
Renko's smile.
Again.
One more.
The mental warfare. A game.
So we are on University for the first round. This is a map where Ramatra is going to be the strongest. You can control positioning, you can play your Mei. There's a lot of effective Mei walls that you can drop. Both teams are going to be fighting for this high ground mini.
Oh yeah. CJ and Renko on different picks. Oh, Lucamino tried to get back to the rest of his team there with Crowie just running on forward. And that Vortex, even the slowing field, to be fair, from the Soj, so effective at isolating people. And you can see Lucamino was trying to get away, but man, the Disruptor shot kind of rolled him. There's the point. There's the first cap. It's going to go the way of the LA Valiant.
Now it's the San Francisco Shock who are going to have to walk into the Valiant through chokes, through Mei walls. You can see they're just waiting. Lia's hovering over the high ground, waiting for someone to walk through so he can boot them.
Yeah, we see how Proper can match up against Nos again. He was instrumental on the Mei. There was only a couple of like small mistakes. He kind of threw it into the wall. Maybe that would have been a one fight for them before, but his ability to charge those blizzards, which is so important for their team fights. I mean, Nos is only just a little bit behind him right now. This is a very grindy map.
Important difference here, Shock have an Ana while Valiant are playing the Baptiste, so they have a nano boost, but they're going to walk into an amplification matrix. He's walking through it, never mind.
He just walks through the window with the nano. I mean, you can do that. That damage resistance, you can sustain a little bit of that damage through the window. Good stuff. And yeah, that's the big thing there. I mean, if you get jumping in position, you just hit amp, you hit the nano on him, he's just walking.
Yeah, that was great play from the Shock. Valiant just got caught off guard. It felt like they believed they had protection with that Baptiste with the amplification matrix, but Junbin just kicks down that door. Now the Valiant are the ones who are having to walk through the chokes versus the Mei walls. But not only that, we have more ultimates up. There's an Annihilation, there's Blizzards. A lot of threats that they're going to have to maneuver around.
This ends.
Oh, narrowly avoiding Probe's head. That overclock. Oh, Proper's going to match him on the high ground. Does hit a body shot onto Seeker. Blizzard yeeted in. Where'd he go?
It's on top of him, I think.
It's on top of him, I think. Yeah, I couldn't see it through the Annihilation, to be honest with you. Both Blizzards sent out. The Annihilation is just way too good. I mean, it's tough to run away from the Annihilation at the best of times, but when you got a Blizzard on top of you as well, that's all AoE.
It did cost the Shock pretty much everything. They used 4 ultimates, while the Valiant, they were able to retain the Sound Barrier and the Annihilation, so they have the ability to get into this fight. The Shock are going to have to find a way to disable the threat of Corey walking at them with an Annihilation.
Still though, Lyre with that beat. If they do want a nano jump in again, they can just punch the beat down and just run at the back line. Speaking of which,
oh, hit it.
Renko does hit the sleep, but no, I don't know who woke him up, but it's a pretty tough time when you're Proper there. If you're probably just left-clicking, trying to slow the Ram down, you interrupt the sleep. Double kill for the Annihilation. Now they're just whittling them down. Just a little bit of extra stall time for Pro, but these fights are decisive. 80% for the Shock. Big ultimate expenditure for the Valiant. I mean, the Annihilation just, it is so good at just destroying Arnas. If you hit the sleep, it's great, but if Annihilation gets woken up, you're as good as dead.
If Luke Mino was trying to help Probe, just find a pick, give them that advantage in the fight. They weren't able to find anything, so Renko just falls over. This time the Valiant are going proactive with their amplification matrix, and they find value.
Look at the last fight then, Scott, if they get one pick here. If they get another one, this is really bad for Shock. Jump in! Jump in! Okay.
Just walks out there, maybe thinking he could get some healing. Doesn't find it. Nos is asleep, but they can't find any value.
It's so tough as the Ana in that position because you probably don't have a direct angle to jump in. And if you're on the flip side of things, CJ can just lob those healing grenades.
Shock have ultimates coming up though, Jack. They have the Annihilation, they have the Blizzard, even a sound barrier coming up as well.
All right, here we go. There's the Annihilation straight into the back line. Nos is so close to the ult, so close. Zeke gets taken down with a railgun to the head. Jumpin's still pretty low though, but does get naded by Renko to keep him up. There's Probe, double kill for the Soj. OT, Valiant got to make this quick. Just die, go again. You know you've got at least another touch here with 85% for the Shock.
And Junbin was the only person who used an ultimate. That was Annihilation. The Valiant just didn't have any way to deal with it. Corey over to the Doomfist.
Oh,
it's going to be difficult to get to the point and take a fight where you even have any chance.
He's got ward, vortex, Seeker's already dead, and he had overclock. A good sleep on Delia, but one person does touch. But it's only Crowy there. The San Francisco Shock. I mean, they had too many answers for the Valiant. Round one, 100 to 99. It couldn't be closer. I mean, that kill onto Seeker was that's what really sealed the deal. I mean, Seeker clutches out with a Soj. You know how much of a menace he is on that pick. That is rough.
Yeah. And now, if you're the Valiant, that was the round that you would feel the most confident in. That's the one where you can play your comfort style. So now they move over to Gardens, and Croy hovering onto that Junker Queen. I would not be surprised if they came out this way. They don't want to take a Winston mirror, but it's so difficult to play Ramatra here.
Pretty tough. Another thing they're pretty confident on is the JQ, though, to be fair.
Yeah.
But against the Ramatra...
Shock might see this coming, recognizing that the Valiant aren't going to play Winston. So if you just come out of Ramatra, you pretty much cover all of your bases.
It is almost the Esperance gone, pretty much for Valiant.
And because the Valiant don't have a Lucio, they don't get the high ground positioning, so now they're stuck on the low ground, just taking pressure.
Nade for Renko to save Probe. Yeah, no chance you get one clip there, not, unfortunately. Oh, but Jumpy dies, just randomly again. Yeah. Renko in trouble. Good peel from Lucamino. Seeker does fall, but with that tank, and especially it being a Ramatra too, is just so tough to actually get off of the point. It's going to be tough for the San Francisco Shock to find their way into this fight again. Jumpin switches over to the Doomfist of all things, in fact, Scott, to try and get back in time. Good knife from Crowy. Just yoinks Lucamino straight back in, but Probe has found 3 kills this fight, Scott.
He's just sitting on the high ground, and there's no one from the Valiant to pressure
They can't close out.
Yeah, and with Crowy going down, all of a sudden they lose that front line. So the Valiant don't really have a lot of legs to stand on. Laya gets anti-ed, Seeker gets slept, and that's going to be the first fight to the Shock.
Oh, wow. After going to jump in like that, that's a surefire victory most of the time. But Probe, just such a sick rookie.
Yeah, he's been really stepping up for this team. We had questions when they signed Probe of, are they going to play Striker? Are they going to play Probe? Where does Probe fit in? Is he just going to be that hit scan guy? And honestly, his Sombra and his hit scan have both impressed me. I wouldn't be surprised to see him be a mainstay moving forward.
On to jump in. There's the stick. There's the kill. No nano boost from Renko to try and save him. He's actually just going to nano boost Probe, who's got the overclock. He's just running the Valiant down. Can he actually find kills, though? Oh! A little hoodwink there from CJ, just teleporting away. They still managed to find the kill onto Seeker, but Valiant have the manpower in the front line right now. They're just going to run down Lucamino. It's good. Blizzard has been used by Proper to try and find kills, Scott. Another big ult expenditure. Can Probe find any more value on the high ground? Doesn't look like it is. Actually dropping to low.
You can see the San Francisco Shock, they want to stay in this fight, but they don't have control of the point. So this is just elongating the loss here for the Shock. Jumbin going for a cheeky little play. He gets punished for it.
And I worry for the San Francisco Shock now, Scott. Rampage, Rally, EMP. Really tough, and in fact, Proper's going to switch over to Genji of all things. And Jumbin, they're going to match. Okay, they're just straight up matching the Valiant right now in the tank slot.
Jumbin has shown his willingness to play the Queen, so it's not out of left field completely, but Proper on the Genji, this is going to be a hard ask. We saw it on Circuit Royale, but this is a very different map.
Kunai's there's the Rampage, it's good, but Lukamino matches it with the beats. So they're not going to fall just yet, but the EMP straight into Zika's waiting arms. Lukamino, Renko, they're in trouble. Everybody from the Shock just separating as soon as that EMP hit.
You're mine now.
Valiant, they do use a lot in that fight. They use their 3 big ultimates. Again, it relies on Nos to come up big, but they're kind of thankful that the Shock ended up changing most of their comp because they can't have ultimates to respond now.
Yeah. Because Shock made so many swaps, you're able to use that many ultimates for the Valiant. CJ coming up with another enormous pick out of nowhere. That's proper down. More percentages coming up. Shock aren't going to get the ultimates they need for this final fight.
Are they going to get Blade?
Maybe not. You can see, look at the way Kroy's setting up. They want to let the Shock walk into them, and they want to catch them off guard.
Pulse bomb. Oh, if he lands this on Proper, I'm going to lose it. I think so, or Proper, to be honest with you.
They're flanking?
They're flanking? Yeah. With Liar? Do they know?
Lukamino doesn't know.
Lukamino doesn't know. He has to bash away. He's on his own. The pulse bomb lands. Oh, but he bashes into him. It's a 1-for-1. Nos can't believe it. And neither can Liar as he gets cut in half by Proper's dash. 99% OT for the Valiants. They do have Krabby on the point. They've isolated jump in, but they cannot get off. It's the Shock that are in control of the high ground right now. Is that rush used on point? It's going to afford them a little bit of time here. As Probe kills CJ.
It's not enough. The Valiant,
there's the flip.
They fumbled at the final hour. They got a great punish there onto Lukamino, but they were the ones that paid the price. They are now the ones who used the ultimates, and Shock are in the driving seat. All those ultimates, we were worried they weren't going to get up.
They're going to have them now.
They're cashing in.
50% to 99. Blade, Rampage, pretty much everything. From the beat. Can Probe go nuclear again?
If you're the Valiant, you want to get this fight, take it as quickly as possible, and get as many ultimates out of the Shock as you can.
You need this EMP too. Maybe save the EMP for the next one, just get ults out like you said.
Yeah.
Force Probe up to high ground. Okay, they trade, but Renko goes down. No rush for the Shock. They've got ults. They've got that railgun. Nos is the target. A double tap onto the Tracer is enough. The Valiants, what's their choice? Their choice right now is to back. They've only got one ultimate out of the Shock though, Scott, in this last fight.
It was only the Overclock, and Seeker was the one that went down, so he hasn't even got up to this EMP yet. He's close, but doesn't have it. 82%, they have the time to slow things down, find the target they want to get.
EMP hits 3, jumping Proper, Lukamino in trouble. There's the Rampage, only hits Crowy. It is OT though, in just a matter of moments. Jumping, trying to find more value. He's isolated, but there's the play from Proper. He's going straight into the front. Crowy dead, Proper getting the resets. There's 1, there's 2. Make that a 3rd, we'll call that. Liar CJ down. Overtime ticking through, and the LA Valiant, the victory just slipping between their fingers. Zika finds a kill onto Renko, but there's just no other backup, there's no other support. There's a rally from Liar to get back, but no! Shock deny them another win. The LA Valiant go down, and the Shock take the series 3-2.
The Valiant, it felt like they were in the exact same form that got them the victory over the Gladiators, but the difference, the Shock were just too clutch. They were able to turn the fights that they needed to turn, able to keep their ult economy going, and once again, the San Francisco Shock making the right swaps at the right time gives them the difference.
That fight at the very end, or the second to last fight, I should say, with Nosh trading with Lukamino on the break, that's such an important pick. You do end up losing your life, but you're pretty happy about that if you're the Tracer. You can come back very quickly, and there's no support, or little support. Wow, the Shock. A real nail-biter as we go into map number 5. I mean, the LA Valiant, they weren't really a team that people thought were going to come anywhere close. I mean, the desk maybe gave them 1 map, most of them giving 0. The chat voted main the San Francisco
94%.
Shock, who was almost destined to win this one. But again, the LA Valiant show their tenacity. The Shock, are they happy with this victory? They are 6-5, so they're not, you know, directly in the middle now. They're not 5-5, but that is way closer than you want.
If you're the Shock, you take anything you can get. It's better than last stage where it felt like those were the matches that were slipping through their fingers. They weren't able to close those ones out. So as much as I agree with you, the Shock are like breathing a sigh of relief. It shouldn't have been that close. At least you close. That gives confidence in these guys to be able to continue to get these wins.
I mean, we're near in the playoffs too. So every single win here is going to count. The LA Valiant just, again, they're so close. They've taken down the Glass last week, almost the Shock this week. I'm looking forward to the latter half of the season, Scott, seeing more LA Valiant gameplay, but the San Francisco Shock do take the dub. Player of the match, though, let's see who it is going to be for the Shock. It's Proper.
It has to be, and as much as it feels like this guy gets it every time, he was deadlifting almost in every single map, even the losses here for the Shock. He just has this ability when his back's against the wall to just hit another level, hit another gear. He did it while switching over to the Genji on Circle Royale, did it once again to close out Oasis. He's just so clutch and so flexible. Such an asset to this team.
Yeah, consistency is important, and how we were kind of praising Nos to be very consistent on the tracer, hitting sticks. Proper is just that, and you know, on almost every single hero in the game. I mean, we've only seen him on DPS so far, but you know, I mean, he can probably play tank and support at the highest levels too. And Proper is going to be the player of the match for this series. 71% stick accuracy, stick attach rate.
He does a lot of sticking onto tanks. That's usually why his percentage is so high, but that doesn't mean that's ineffective.
Yeah.
It really puts pressure on the other tank. The stat that stands out here for me is the 11.9 final blows per 10. That's a lot of final blows, Jack. Bruh.
How'd you deal with that? I mean, like you said, he was the clutch factor.
Yeah.
Blades, pulse bombs, whatever it was, he does come out on top, but the San Francisco Shock do end up finding the win so close to playoffs. They need to clinch that spot, and they want to, and you can see it. I mean, it was a little bit of a rough game, sure, but like you said, even getting dubs here is great news. I mean, the LA Valiant is going to be a fun rest of the season for them, I can guarantee you. But the San Francisco Shock, I think a lot of the fans can, again, breathe a sigh of relief. Their team is they've still got what it takes, that is for sure. We're going to go to a quick break. Don't go anywhere. This match is over. We've got 2 more to come. The desk is going to set us up. We'll see you in a bit.
Welcome back, everybody. San Francisco Shock getting the win against Los Angeles Valiant. It wasn't a blowout, though. Los Angeles Valiant, they made them work for it. It was super close up until the very end.
Really impressive battle for California. I think both teams were really slugging it out there. It felt like it was anybody's game. You know, at so many moments, Valiant were playing comps really suited to their strengths rather than sticking to the meta, but it looked good for them. And, you know, on the flip side, on Lijiang Tower, it was Valiant playing. We're going to play Summer Tracer. We're going to hit you with something very standard, and Shock kind of almost cheesed themselves with those fire picks.
Valiant, they represented Los Angeles well.
Yeah.
You know, as the ruler of Los Angeles,
NorCal.
they're taking down the Gladiators in the final battle for California. Proper. Oof.
He's human, guys. He's human.
Indeed. Well, maybe it was calculated. We don't know that.
I don't know.
Seeker, I mean, he came out and had some iconic, you know, Seeker pop-off moments, and really kept Valiant in this series, like throughout all of these maps. Even though Shock here, the win Umbani, the win Circuit Royale, but the Valiant kept it relatively close and also showed off a few different looks here with Krabi playing the Ramatra, for example, Seeker being able to play the Soldier. But I mean, the Shock winning this matchup, so back and forth with Probe having some really good moments, Proper over time and time again showing some really good moments. Like, it's a Shock we wanted to see. But Junbin, well, I don't know if we want to see Junbin on Baptiste, but
That's a
they won.
I want to ask you guys, like, what are your thoughts on, you know, Shock put in Junbin on the support role? Like, what were your thoughts?
I mean, Junbin is a mechanically a very, very strong player. I see him on DPS a lot on the ladder, and so he can definitely handle any of these, like, you know, high mechanics heroes, which Baptiste in this comp really is not so much that. It is, I think, a little bit more of a team play hero, more about keeping everyone healed up, using your abilities well, not dying to snipers. And so I think for Junbin, you know, this just speaks to his flexibility as a player. Maybe Renko, we've seen him mostly on the Ana. We haven't really seen too many swaps from him, so maybe this is a little bit less of his comfort zone to play BAP. They're feeling confident with Junbin.
I do feel like I also want to play. I mean, we talked a lot about Seeker, but man, even this match, like whether it was on Sojourn, even on Widow on Circuit as well, like
he was lighting
Oh, that was crazy. I mean,
this guy, like when he's on, like he just pounds.
Yeah. The Sombra looked great as well on every map, right? Like, I think that's one thing to point out, because we've seen Seeker play these long-range hit scans. I don't think anyone's surprised to see him dominating there. But playing the Sombra and Valiant actually looking strong with Seeker Sombra. The follow-ups looking clean from Nos. When Krabi was on the Winston, he's coming in for those dives as well. It looked good for them. So it shows that they, you know, we've been talking about them as like, okay, they play Rest, they play Sojourn. And yes, they do. But I think they have a little bit more depth and versatility that they're showing us now. So, I mean, making it so close against a revamped Shock is impressive.
Yeah. It was really good for the Valiant that they at least took it to map 5, because unlike the Toronto series last week, now we know for sure that the Valiant will be competitive against a lot of these middle-of-the-pack teams, and they won't just lose 3-0, like fall over, like I predicted, for example. No, like they can compete with the San Francisco Shock. They can compete with the Los Angeles Gladiators. So Valiant is a team you gotta watch out for now.
Yeah, I mean, they are keeping everything more exciting, but hey, it wasn't enough for the San Francisco Shock because they are the winners. And now it's for the post-match interview. We got Lucamino on the line with us for a quick chat. Lucamino, hello, how are you doing?
Good, you know.
Awesome. Hey, yeah, it was a close match. I actually wanted, my first question was actually about that. You know, this was surprisingly a close match. You know, what do you think were some of the problems that the Shock were facing during the match, and how were you guys able to overcome it?
I mean, at least for me, I was a little nervous, but I don't know. I feel like the match was just close overall. We just had to calm down, focus on our team plan, and we could win.
That makes sense. Well, speaking of team plans and team synergy, I want to know, you know, you've been on a lot of teams that have frankly struggled. What's it like being on a team like Shock with much stronger players to support and like overall, maybe, I mean, much more higher expectations as well on the flip side?
I mean, for me at least, this team feels a lot easier because I'm just focusing on my job, right? Trying to stop the enemy team from, you know, winning fights rather than trying to carry like I was on Vegas. But here I'm just doing my job, working with my teammates, trying to make it work, you know?
I gotta say, Luca, you know, it's kind of crazy, you know, having this interview with you now, because you've been part of the league for like a year, and finally, like, you're here having an interview on Watchpoint. It took some time. I'm so happy for you. Like, I'm really thrilled for you, you know, being on the part of the Shock now and getting a couple of wins, and maybe you can like snowball this to even something even better. So really happy for you. I wanted to ask more about your role on the team. We've seen you play a lot more Lucio, for example. You did play some Zenyatta on Circuit Real, but what's it like having to adapt your role when it comes to your hero picks? What do you want to play moving forward? But like, do you recognize your role in the team as being a bit different than it was on Vegas Eternal?
I mean, I feel like I've always been a hyper flex player, and Vegas wanted me more to just be flex support. But this team, I can kind of utilize my, you know, full skill set. I feel like it feels good for me at least. I like playing a lot of heroes, being able to swap.
All right, suits you well, yeah.
Yeah. I have one, just, this might be a stupid question, but just out of curiosity, you know, you're on the Shock, you're playing with a lot of Korean players. Did you learn any new Korean words while you were with the Shock?
You know, some not nice Korean words.
It usually happens when you, yeah.
The first and most important thing for all esports players.
Yeah, all right. Oh, well, I mean, hopefully you could learn some other Korean words that are
I could say
speakable. 안녕하세요.
Hey, there you go.
It's a good start.
All right, Luke and Vito, thank you so much for your time, and again, big congratulations on getting the win.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lucamino.
All right, everybody. Before we jump into our next match, Overwatch Contenders Summer Series is actually going down. Tune in on July 24th and 25th for more action. Check out overwatch.com/path2pro for more details. Path to Pro.
All right.
Contenders.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice gen.
All right. Moving on, our second match. This one we talked a little bit about in the pre-show. I do feel like this is a very important match. Boston Uprising versus Toronto Defiant.
Huge implications for both
one.
teams. I think even bigger for Toronto, though. I think for Boston, like, you would love to get this win, and trying to keep pace with Mayhem and Outlaws and hold those top 3 spots. Every single win matters. You can't, you know, dropping a win gives other teams a chance to surpass you in those top 3 slots. But I think for Defiant, this is the moment to make your mark on the league and show that, like, you're on the path to playoffs, to grand finals in front of a home crowd.
I actually disagree with you here, Jake, for once. I actually disagree with you, because if you are the Boston Uprising, like, it's crucial that you directly qualify for the playoffs now. If you're the Toronto Defiant, you know, a win here, a win there, it's unlikely that they'll miss out on the play-ins all in together, the Toronto Defiant, and it's unlikely that they'll make the top 3. The Boston Uprising, like, they're actually competing for one of those 3 slots to directly qualify, and if you drop a series, Houston Outlaws could equal your record, for example.
Florida Mayhem is also
Florida Mayhem right there. So Boston Uprising and Florida Mayhem, like, I feel like it's crucial for them to win every single match now from here on